JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now onto the news. High-powered weapon among guns seized in separate police operations. A submachine gun was among a cache of guns and ammunition seized by the Kingston East Police during an operation on Thompson Avenue on Tuesday morning. According to investigators, the items seized include one Woodley submachine gun, 3 magazines, 3 Glock pistol magazines, an AK-style rifle magazine, 12 12-gauge cartridges, 1 5.56 round, and 1.45 round. No one was taken into custody following the discovery. Detectives say the probe is ongoing as they work to identify the individuals linked to the weapons. In a separate incident, police attached to the Mount Salem police area carried out a targeted operation along Pigott Street in St. James on December 1. During the midday search of a premises, officers reportedly seized a PA-15-300 assault rifle along with 22 5.56 cartridges. 3 persons were detained pending further investigation. Guns discovered in Hurricane Melissa relief containers. 1 person detained. 4 guns were recently found in containers coming in as Hurricane Melissa aid from private consignments. 1 person was taken into custody in connection with the seizures. Investigations are ongoing. The issue was discussed at last Thursday's meeting of the National Security Council (NSC). The Jamaica Customs Agency advised the NSC that there has been a significant increase in goods and materials entering the country, primarily due to the relief effort. As a result, appropriate measures have been implemented to ensure the relief items are handled efficiently and securely, which led to the detection and seizure of the guns. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is cautioning persons sending relief items to Jamaica not to include illegal goods and weapons in relief packages. He says the government will continue to ensure the security and integrity of imported items. 29 Haitians detained by police in Portmore. Police in St. Catherine have detained 29 Haitian nationals after they were discovered at a residence in the Edgewater community of Portmore on Monday evening. According to initial reports, law enforcement officers acted on intelligence and went to the location, where they found a group consisting of 8 women and 21 men. Information received is that the group had legally entered Jamaica, each receiving a 3-day permit to remain on the island. However, investigators say most of them failed to leave before the permit expired, placing them in breach of immigration laws. All 29 individuals were transported to the Greater Portmore Police Station, where they were processed by personnel from the Passport, Immigration and the Citizenship Agency (PICA). They are expected to be charged and brought before the courts as the investigation continues. Some Westmoreland residents could be without electricity until May 2026, says Mayor Delancey. Some communities in Westmoreland may not see full restoration of electricity until May 2026. According to Mayor of Savlamar and Betheltown Division Councillor Donnery Delancey, Delancey said the projected timeline was shared with him during a recent meeting with Hugh Grant, Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Public Service, JPS.
Councillor Donnery Delancey, Councillor for the Betheltown Division and Mayor of Savlamar. We have been trying our best to alleviate some of the pain and suffering that has been brought upon our people here in Westmoreland. We have been, through the kind generosity of persons, we have been issuing care packages and also household items. In terms of electricity, Negril has electricity, most of Negril, not all, most of Negril has electricity. And about 2 to 3 days ago, the rest of the Savlamar Public General Hospital was also powered up by the JPS. Those are the only places thus far in the parish, to my knowledge, that has electricity. At a recent meeting with the CEO of JPS, I was advised that some parts of the parish might not get back electricity until about May of next year.
Policeman charged with assault over incident with woman. Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF District Constable Cavell Minot has been charged following a domestic assault incident involving a woman and a baby in 2024. The incident occurred on January 27, 2024 in White River District, Portland. An investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations (INDECOM) led the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to rule that Minot should be charged for the assault of both individuals. The complainant sought medical attention and were recorded as having injuries which were not considered permanent. The incident reportedly arose from an altercation between the off-duty officer and the woman while she held the baby in her hands. The oversight body said in a statement on Tuesday it was placed before the Portland Parish Court on November 26 and bound over to January 27, 2026 to arrange legal representation, allow for disclosure, and for a trial date to be set. 53 law enforcement officers have been charged in relation to incidents investigated by INDECOM since January 2024, 2018-2024, and 25 so far in 2025. $1 trillion Jamaican dollars reconstruction package, a vote of confidence in Jamaica, says Wholeness.
Madam Speaker, the international community has responded to Jamaica with remarkable solidarity, urgency, and confidence. Yesterday, the 1st of December 2025, the international financial institutions, the IMF, the World Bank Group, the Inter-American Development Bank, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean Development Bank, jointly announced a 3-year coordinated financing package of up to $6.7 billion to support Jamaica's US dollars, to support Jamaica's recovery, reconstruction, and long-term resilience. Madam Speaker, even before the announcement of this substantial international financing package, we already had in place a multi-layered disaster risk financing framework, which was the product of years of strategic planning, disciplined financial management, and proactive investment in resilience. This framework enabled rapid early response and the immediate mobilization of liquidity to meet the most urgent needs following Hurricane Melissa within days. Jamaica activated several instruments across our risk financing architecture. We had approximately Jamaican $5.3 billion in the contingencies fund and $1 billion in the National Natural Disaster Reserve Fund. We received US $91 million from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, one of the largest payouts ever made in the region. And then we had the US $150 million under the catastrophe bond, triggered immediately based upon parametric thresholds. In addition, we had US $285 million available through the IDB's contingent credit facility for rapid liquidity support, which was upsized to $300 million, and US $42 million scalable to US $84 million available on request under the World Bank's catastrophe deferred drawdown option. Madam Speaker, this totals approximately US $662 million in liquidity that was available almost immediately following the hurricane. This is the very definition of planning, preparedness, and responsible governance. Our multi-layered approach ensured that Jamaica did not wait helplessly for external support. We were prepared and ready to act, ready to deliver, and ready to protect our people. However, Madam Speaker, the scale of the disaster is without precedent in our history. The widespread infrastructure damage, displacement of thousands of families, the destruction of livelihoods, and the long-term economic impacts mean that additional financing is required to support the reconstruction effort and to build a more resilient Jamaica. It is against this backdrop of strong national preparedness that the international community has now rallied behind Jamaica, recognizing that we are not merely seeking help. We are ready to lead, ready to rebuild, and ready to transform. Madam Speaker, the US $6.7 billion financing announced yesterday has three main components. US $3.6 billion in sovereign debt financing. This is for the government to execute the National Recovery and Reconstruction Program over the next 3 years and includes up to $1 billion each from the World Bank, IDB, and CAF. US $415 million from the IMF under the large natural disaster window of the RFI, and US $200 million from the CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank. The second category of funding, second component of funding, would be US $2.4 billion in private capital mobilization. IDB Invest, the International Finance Corporation, and the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency will mobilize private investment through public-private partnership models. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that mobilizing private capital will be critical not only to scale up recovery efforts, but also to preserve fiscal space. It is not intended for the sovereign debt pool. This is not intended, Madam Speaker, for the sovereign debt pool, and the private financing pool will operate independent of each other. The plan is to use innovative public-private partnership solutions and structures that blend public and private finance and expertise throughout the recovery and reconstruction process. The third component would be grants and technical assistance. The third important component of the overall financing package would see the 5 institutions committing to provide technical assistance and policy advice services. This would include, they would provide, Madam Speaker, policy advisory services which would be funded by grants that draw on global experience and best practices in disaster response. So far, US $12 million in grants would have already been mobilized from the IDB, the World Bank Group, and the CAF, with more to come. Madam Speaker, these 3 components, in addition to the US $662 million that was already available, is what makes up the overall financing package of $6.7 billion US. This is the single largest and most comprehensive development financing package ever assembled for Jamaica. It gives us the liquidity, the fiscal space, and the multi-year investment framework required to rebuild stronger and more secure for our future. Securing support of this magnitude within 1 month of Hurricane Melissa is nothing short of historic. It reflects sustained, direct, and proactive engagement at the highest level. Over the last several weeks, we have had extensive engagements with the heads of the IMF, the IDB, the World Bank Group, CAF, and the CDB, as well as other leaders at the G20. But, Madam Speaker, let us be clear. Engagement alone would not have produced this outcome. The swift, coordinated response from the IFIs is a direct vote of confidence in Jamaica's governance.
JBNN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.